Hello, everyone. My name is Chrissy Smith, and this is Nine Lives Energy. And together we energize your body from the inside out. Thank you so much for joining me today for this full moon in Scorpio video. I have had a lot going on the last week with exams ending and, me having to go on a trip this coming week. So I really haven't had a whole lot of time to be working on this. And so I got the first zodiac sign done and I said, you know what, let's just do the weird and unusual thing and just go from the cuff. And this way people can see if you're a good astrologer or not by looking at the different charts and such. So I have hurt my neck this week. And sometimes when we are doing something that is uncomfortable or requires us to change, that can be a little daunting. And we want to hurry up and get it over with, or hurry up and get through it fast so we can go on to the next thing that we want to experience. But Pluto, which is ruled by Scorpio, wants us to take things a little bit slower, right? Because sometimes when we transform, when we see the work from our efforts, then that is because we have taken the time in order to incorporate those things that we are wanting to transform. And so therefore the transformation, it sticks. So we're going to be doing things just a little bit differently today. Since I hurt my neck this week, I haven't been able to sit comfortably in a chair. And so I've had to stand and sit and stand and sit. And I said, you know what? I'm going to prop this computer up using my cat's tower. So hopefully he's not going to want to get out there and play. He's having a good time in the garage right now. So maybe he'll just stay in there for the evening. But thank you for joining me. We are turning this around so you can kind of see what is going on here. All right. And let's see, how are we going to work this? I think I had done it like this. Yeah. All right. We're going to move this in a little closer. You get to see my office that I need to clean up. But I have been doing a lot of cleaning this week because guess what? That is what Scorpio rules in my particular chart placement with a Leo rising. Now, before we get started, folks, okay, I'm going to move this down just a little bit more. Before we get started, let me see if this is working. Let me turn this around. Come on. That's what we get for doing things live. All right, so before we get this started, try to log into astro-seek.com. And you can enter in your astrological information, which is your birth time, the place of birth, and the date. And that'll tell you your rising sign, because this is how I do this spread, okay, or this information. And if you don't know what your rising sign is, don't worry about it. You can just go by your sun sign, but you will get more out of it if you look at your rising sign, okay? So again, astroseek.com is where you can find this information. All right, so moving back over to this. So when we think about Scorpio, all right, Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, and it is controlled in the 8th house. So anything in the 8th house, all right, is Scorpio-like or is Pluto-like. So all of these things can be a theme of that particular zodiac and that planet and that house placement. So people who are Scorpio risings, okay, their chart ruler is Pluto. So you need to be thinking about wherever Pluto is, like pay attention. So for the next 20 years, Pluto is going to be going in the sign of, or is in the sign of Aquarius. Okay, so it is going to be about the transformation of we the people, transformation of service to humanity, transformation of technology, and how we use technology to heal the body and to heal humanity. Okay, so those are going to be themes coming up. Now, the moon, all right, every planet has its place that it likes to be. Every and it has its place where it doesn't like to be. So the moon, its favorite place to be is in Cancer because that's its chart ruler. However, all right, the moon is in detriment when it is in Scorpio. All right, so it is, Scorpio doesn't like to really show emotions. They have that thick shell for a reason, okay? And when you touch an emotion, all right, they can sting you with that stinger. Scorpio and Pluto both rule transformation. It's like the rising of the phoenix, right? But Scorpio in its unevolved state is the scorpion or the snake. And then, you know, you've heard the rise of the phoenix. Well, that came from this particular zodiac sign, because phoenix is the next one. And then the eagle, that is what it is known for when it is in its evolved state, in its ascended state. It controls death and rebirth. All right. So when we do let go of what was, then we can be reborn again. All right. We can have the transformation. Scorpio also rules hidden money, research, unsolved mysteries. It rules sex, the shadow side of life, the darkness of life, our addictions. Okay. It could be the things that we don't want people to know about us, right? That is Scorpio themes. Now, I'm not saying all Scorpios are like that. Okay. I'm just saying that that's what it rules. Scorpio also rules Halloween, Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos. All right. Sorry, I did not do well in Spanish. Listen to this country accent. Listen to this country accent. Okay. No, we did not do well in Spanish. Neither did my brother. And the teacher was like, oh no, Josh, you're not signing up for my class again. It also controls secrets. All right. Scorpio can keep a secret like nobody else. But if we have certain parts of ourselves that we don't want people to know, that can be a secret too. Okay. So it controls hidden information, the occult. The occult is like, you know, just anything that's hidden. It's not things that are probably yucky in nature. Maybe it could be used for yucky purposes, but maybe it isn't. For example, sex can be used in a yucky way, or sex can be used for something good. Okay. It just means hidden information. Astrology is hidden information. Tarot cards or anything that is hidden can be used for good or adverse purposes. All right. That's how we have to look at that word. Shadow work, looking at the parts of ourselves that we don't like. All right. We all have parts of ourselves that we don't like. All right. But are we going to still continue to be like that, even though we need to work on it? Or are we going to work on that? Okay. That is what Scorpio is, because if you work on it through the transformation, Pluto is going to give you power. Okay. Power from being in the uncomfortable, power from growing, power from doing the hard thing. You can do hard things. All right. So that is the overall theme for the collective. Now, this is the only slide that I've done. All right. As I stated earlier, this is how much I've done, but I was like, you know, I can think about the different themes that we got, right? So these are the themes of what the planets are doing. And so I'm going to kind of look at the chart and tell you what's going on. All right. And then I'm going to be typing in the box so that you can see this live. All right. Okay. So here we go. We're starting with the Aries. Now, when you tune back in later on, I will have the timestamps for these. So again, if you get something out of this video, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. It does help the channel to grow and get that information out there to those that need the information the most. So if we have the full moon in Aries, okay, so this means the Aries would be your ascendant. This is not just all Aries, but this is the Aries of ascendant. So if you are an Aries sun and you don't know what your rising sign is, then you can go by this chart. But if I look over here, all right, so this is an example of how to figure out your rising sign. So this is the name of the website. It's called astroseek.com. And then after you do that, you're going to click over here for astrology charts. After you do that, you're going to click on the birth chart report. So for me, I am going to say, we're just going to put in the full moon, okay? So 12 March 2025, okay? I think it was at 16:55. We're just going to say that that's what it was. If you don't know what your birth time is, just pick 12 noon, all right? So we're just going to pick 12 noon. And since I live in Greensboro, I'm going to pick that. All right. So this is what this person's rising sign would be if this was their birthday. They would be a Gemini rising. Okay. So this is how we figure it out. Now, this is how this works, right? So if I was born like 6 hours later, that means that now I'm a Virgo rising. So the time of day is important. But again, if you don't know your time, what time are we going to go with? We are going to go with 12 p.m. because that is when the sun was at the height of the day. Hopefully in your time of birth. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. All right, so we're back to our PowerPoint. All right, so for Aries, move this up a little bit closer. Thank you guys for working with me. I'm a perfectionist, so this is way out of my comfort zone. And the old me would have just not even put this up and said to hell with it because it wasn't perfect. So guess what? That's how you grow, is by doing things the weird and unusual way and seeing if you might learn something. So you are going to be experiencing this in your 8th house. Okay. This is this house right here. So this is the house that Scorpio controls. This is the house that Pluto controls. So this is about letting go, okay, because the full moon is illuminating, all right, illuminating the things that we need to probably get rid of. So it's illuminating any toxic behaviors that you probably have, okay? What toxic behaviors do you have that you probably need to let go of? And as soon as I say that to you, you already know what it is, okay? Because it's something that you value. The 2nd house is the things that we value, okay? So it's a letting go of the things that we value. Now, Uranus is about weird and unexpected things, okay? So you could be having some weird and unexpected experiences around what it is that you value, okay? And you could have these things because of a loss that maybe you have experienced, okay? So maybe, and I'm not saying that this would happen, but a transformational experience would be a loss of maybe a job or a loss of maybe some money. Maybe your home got broken into. Maybe it was illuminating something that maybe you needed to get rid of. Or maybe there's some hidden monies because Scorpio controls hidden monies. Hidden monies coming to you in a weird and unusual way. Okay. But those weird and unusual experiences probably can't come in unless we kind of detox our life a little bit. Watch out for being too fixed in your ways and not wanting to change, because Taurus doesn't like to change. It is the most fixed sign within the zodiac. Okay. But because we have Uranus here, Uranus is given some energy to Taurus to say, hey, let's change up the things that we value. Okay. Because if you don't, then you may not grow the way that you want to. Okay. Now, we are looking at the Mercury and Pluto square right here. So Mercury is how we communicate, and 3 is a communication degree. We have Aquarius up here with Pluto in Aquarius, which is service to humanity and we the people. And friendships. So make sure that you don't get in an argument with somebody and say something that you don't mean. Be slow in what you're thinking, because what you're thinking may be different than what actually is, okay? So just be mindful of having any blow-ups with friends that, remember, you can't take words back, okay? The tongue is like a sword. It can create or it can destroy. All right. So we want to make sure that we're creating happy things that we can value. When I see Neptune right here, these are some astrological remedies. So Neptune is talking to this planet here, Mars. So Mars is in its sign that it likes to be in, which is Leo. And so what you could do is maybe creating some action around the things that you want to create. All right. This is also the house of fun. This is also the house of creating with somebody else, sexy time. Okay. So you could be getting some sexy time. All right. But let's make sure that we are doing it from a good place, that we aren't living in our addictions and trying to create from that space. Okay. So you can create something that you're passionate about, because this is the sign of our passions and our heart. What fills your heart and what do you want to create with? Okay, that could help you through this transit. You also have Pluto, which is making a sextile to Neptune, which is the structures of our home or the structures of our business. All right. And it is also making a sextile here to the sun and to Uranus. So it is probably maybe getting some revenue streams, maybe in a weird way. Like, how can you increase revenue streams? Listening to your intuition, revenue streams for business. That could be a way for you to work through some of this. And folks, I'm addicted to the screens too. We got the North Node here. And it's in Pisces, which is about screens and subconscious. So what are you doing to control your subconscious behaviors? All right. What are you doing? Are you spending too much time on the phone? Are you addicted to the phone? All right. Thinking about those kind of things. So happy full moon in Scorpio. All right. So here comes the live part. Okay. So we are going through Taurus. So I'll be pointing a little bit. Let me see if that works a little bit better. I feel like that is kind of off somewhat because I'm looking at how it looks on some different platforms. Seems to be cutting off the top of my videos. Let me leave it like that instead. Okay, so this is happening in your 7th house. This is about transforming of your relationships and how you are valued in relationships, because Taurus is our values. And maybe there are some weird and unusual things or some different things that you are trying, and maybe you have changed. And so because you have changed, that is changing the types of relationships that you are attracting or how you're seeing in the relationship. So when we look at Uranus and the moon and the sun, those are some things that are also playing a role in here. So I'm going to put in here, all right, you are probably attracting unusual circumstances to show up differently in relationships. Okay. And so, for example, some of these people could just be coming up out of the blue. All right. Just these weird and unusual mishaps. And it's like, oh, I'm supposed to be friends with that person. Make sure it's not a Black Moon Lilith friend. Okay. Because Black Moon Lilith is the darkest part of ourselves. So you don't want to be picking friendships that are kind of helping you not create in a good way. Are these people not allowing you to be your most expressive self, or are they kind of creepy crawly friends, okay, that aren't good for you, and that's going to sabotage your identity and how people see you in the world? Okay, so that is kind of a theme around that. Now right here we have Mercury and Pluto, so that is in your 1st house and your 10th house. So watch out for conversations at work, heated conversations at work. Because this is the house of career and this is the house of identity. So we don't want to be, making enemies at work. Okay. We want to have a good time at work. And if there's some tension at work that maybe you have attracted, what are you doing in order to kind of lay low under the radar? Are you fueling the fire with that conversation, or are you working with these people, okay, to see how you can grow? All right. So just be mindful of that as well, is having conversations at work that probably could be heated and then you end up losing your job. We don't want that for you, Taurus, because you value money and you value hard work. We have Neptune, which is talking to Mars here. So Neptune is in its house that it loves to be in, right? And it is probably giving you some type of realization that you need, maybe around the home and cleaning of the home, possibly a little bit, or taking action around the home and your subconscious behaviors and possibly cleaning of the home. Let's see, Neptune, Mars, Venus. Venus loves to be here too. Maybe there's some subconscious patterns that you need to think about with the home there. So maybe a forgiveness around something that happened in the home. Also, listening to your intuition about maybe how you want to create something new in the home. Okay, so intuitive decorating. That is what I like to call feng shui. If you are interested in feng shui, I do know how to do that. That is one of the things that I teach to people. So make sure that you check out the link below. That'll tell you how to make an appointment with me, and you can not only use it to find out your astrological forecast for the year using the your birth chart for each year, but I can show you how to possibly feng shui your house, because I've done that and I've just seen a total transformation in the things that are coming into my life. There could be possibly some leadership opportunities to happen in the home, or maybe some conversations that you have with a masculine energy in the home, or telling the people in the home how much you love them and care about them. Okay, that would be good for you too. So forgiveness of the home, or possibly doing something fun in the home, action oriented of the home, cleaning of the home. So action in the home. Okay. So now we're going to see the sun, Saturn, moon. So we got the sun going to Saturn, and that's the first house, which is our identity. And it's pointing to how we are giving back to service to humanity, and possibly maybe working behind the scenes a little bit, or attracting people to your life in a business way that are going to help you do that new thing that you want career-wise. Okay. So the more authentic that you show up as yourself, authentic self, all right, equals business relationships coming in. Okay. And this is going to create more of a value at work. Like, why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? Listening to your intuition about, hey, is that a good person, or is that a faux friend? Okay. Where did you meet this person? Did you meet them at a bar and were you intoxicated? All right. Or did you meet this person maybe at the gym, a place that you hang out? Okay. Authentic self equals business relationships coming in, or other people coming into your life. This is relationships in general. This doesn't just mean, you know, I love you type relationships. This can mean business partners coming in too. Okay. So business relationships coming in, thinking about attracting relationships that allow you to be your best self. All right, so this is allowing you to do what it is that you came here to do. You're attracting people like that to your life. Okay, so some astrological remedies. Make sure that we aren't going out to bars and things like that to meet people. Okay, we want to be attracting people to our life that are going to help us be of service to humanity, that help us level up our identity. You have, Taurus, you have really gotten a shakeup in your identity. Taurus risings, Taurus moons, and Taurus suns. Over the last 7 years, you have been pushed to change. Taurus doesn't like change, okay? Taurus hates change. And it has Uranus right here saying, all right, time to make some quick changes, and that's uncomfortable, okay? But understand, through those uncomfortableness, you are going to be able to grow in the process. So if you got something out of this video, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the video, and make an astrological appointment with me if you need to in the description box below. All right, Gemini, you are having this full moon in your 6th house. Now, this is the one of habits, day-to-day, pets, routines, okay? So it could be illuminating things that you need to be letting go of, okay? Why do you have that habit, right? Why is that a subconscious habit that you have? For example, if you smoke cigarettes, why are you smoking those cigarettes? Okay. Are you smoking those cigarettes because it's just a subconscious behavior that you just go out there? Have you ever asked yourself why? A lot of people never ask themselves why that they have a certain habit, right? It's just a pattern that they do. Okay. So this is letting go of any type of bad habit. All right. Just ask yourself, like, as soon as I said that earlier, you know what that bad habit is. So letting go of bad habits, bad routines. There could possibly, and I don't want this, I'm not wishing this for anybody. There could be a letting go of possibly a pet, okay? A change in routine, all right? So a change in routine would be walking that pet, right? That would be a change in that routine. Also, I would probably maybe add something that is of value that connects you to your spirit. Do you have a spiritual practice in the morning? Okay. How do you connect to your spirit? Do you connect to your spirit by drinking spirits? All right. We don't want to do that. We got Black Moon Lilith there. All right. That is going to be here for about 8 more months trying to do some shadow work around our habits, and they could be exaggerated here for Geminis. Okay, so what type of routine do you want, and how is your life aligning with that? This will be a really good thing for you to do to help you work on some of these subconscious behaviors. Okay, Gemini, because the reason that I'm saying this, you control the mind, and you have Jupiter there. All right. And it is giving you all kinds of expansion in your mind. But what types of stories are you telling yourself? Okay. So positive affirmations. What I do in the morning is I try to think about, okay, what am I, if I want to have a business, all right, what does somebody who has a business look like? What does somebody who has a business look like? All right. That person probably is disciplined. That person probably is organized. That person probably manages their money well. That person probably has good relationships. And that person probably has good balance in their life. Now, they might be a workhorse, but hopefully they are not. But what I do, all right, if I want this business, if I want this thing, what does that require? What attribute do you need to have? You need to be disciplined. All right. So walking around in the morning saying, I am disciplined, or saying that before you go to bed at night would be a great astrological remedy for you. And I'm going to say this to all the signs, but to you, especially Gemini, okay? Because you're getting some transformation going on in your spiritual beliefs. All right. And the subconscious patterns. So we got to retrain that. So if you ever heard of the 3-6-9 method, it's 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, and 9 times at night. So it adds up to 18. 6-6-6 could be 18 adverse, or 3-6-9 could be the 3-6-9 method. And it's going to be helping us create the things that we want to in our routine, because 18 degrees, all right, 18 is a Virgo degree, a 6th house degree, which is about our routines and our health habits. So those health habits can be good or not so good. So what are we saying to ourselves, Gemini? What are you saying to yourself in order to get those things that you want, right? I am disciplined. I am healthy. 18 times, whatever it is, okay? I promise you it'll make a difference. Okay, turning this back around. I see 3 people that are tuning in. I appreciate you. It's hard to do all the stuff, where you're trying to talk to people on YouTube or talk to people on Facebook. So this is a 1-person show. If I don't reach out to you or say thank you for tuning in, I'm thanking you now. All right. So Mercury and Pluto, let's see where this is going in. Positive affirmations. I really wanted you to know that. I put an extra letter in that. Positive affirmations. All right. So we got Mercury and Pluto. All right. So Mercury is here. All right. And it is in subconscious patterns, the Pisces areas that we rule in our chart. And it is making a square to your beliefs. Okay. So affirmations again. All right. So you are needing to set some new affirmations, or the ways that you talk to yourself, all right, around beliefs. Set new affirmations around beliefs. What is it that you believe about yourself? Do you believe that you are successful? Do you believe that you can make it? All right. Taurus is about hard work and the long haul. Okay. So you can do it. So let's make sure that we are fixed in our mindset and telling ourselves fixed things that are going to help change our belief systems. You're having a rebirth here in spirituality, beliefs, religion, travel. Okay, so you could be traveling maybe to get some of these affirmations that you need, but you don't have to travel far. You can just travel in your mind, right? Go and look up some stuff on YouTube about affirmations if you want to do that. But I think that just telling yourself these things definitely would make a big difference because you control the mind. And you got Jupiter there, which co-rules this area of your chart and co-rules this part of your chart, which is about business. So setting intentions around business, okay? Setting intentions. Folks, if I make mistakes, I'm sorry, I'm not a good speller. I'm just good at talking. Setting intentions around what your dream job is, okay? This is hopes, wishes, and dreams. And this is our career. All right. So what do you want to do for your dream? Learning something new. Okay. Learning something new. Learning higher learning stuff. Learning a new skill. All right. And this could be maybe going off to college, or this could be maybe you signed up for a course. Okay. So it's learning a new skill that will help you in business or give back into your career. Okay. What else did I say? You could be having, if you already have, I live near a train and I love the train because it reminds me of living or staying with my grandmother when I was younger. Isn't that funny that we end up having these memories when we get older? Happy Mother's Day, by the way, to all the mamas out there. So you could be letting go of maybe a person, a spiritual teacher. Okay. So letting go of a spiritual belief or a guide. All right. That's not the word I'm looking for, but maybe letting go of a routine around, I'm not criticizing anybody, but maybe you don't go to church and now you want to go to church, or maybe you've been going to church and you don't want to go to church anymore because you're changing your belief system, and maybe you want to go walk outside in the woods, and that's something that's unique and different. So that would be something good for you. All right, so we got the North Node up here in Saturn. You've got to do some practices around what you want your career to be like. Okay, so adding routines to your schedule, okay, your day-to-day that will help you in business. Adding routines to your schedule to help you in business. So, for example, if you want to, oh no, we don't want to add a new page. Stop. That's what we get for live television. For example, maybe you're learning something new. Okay, this is learning something new, and you want to add that into your routine so that you can add this to your business, because the North Node is in here giving you intuitive guides, lines about what you want to do in your next career. Okay, and you've got Saturn who's going to dip down into Aries pretty soon. So you're doing the hard work now behind the scenes so that you can learn how to be of service to humanity. Okay. All right, Gemini, if you got something out of this, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to this. The link to make an appointment with me is in the description box below, and the timestamps will be available after the live recording of this video. Thanks so much, Gemini. All right, Cancer, how are you doing? Are you having fun yet? Guess what? Wherever the moon goes, you need to be paying attention, because that is your chart ruler, okay? And you don't like to be in Scorpio because it makes you look at the darkness, okay? And sometimes, because we control the home, Cancer controls the home, we don't want to look at that darkness, okay? Because that could be uncomfortable. It's not all light and love and, hugs, all right, is causing us to dig a little bit deeper. We've all got our shadow selves, okay? And we've all got things that we're good at too. So I'm just picking on you, Scorpio, okay? Now, this is going to be happening in your 5th house, which is about how you create, okay? Now, we got Black Moon Lilith there. Are you going to create, which is a 5-degree, means creation. Are you going to create in a yucky way, in a shadow way? Or are you going to create something else? All right, who are you hanging around? If you want to know a person's future, show me their friends. Are there friends that maybe you need to let go of that aren't allowing you to create? Okay, so maybe a letting go of how you create people around that maybe, don't serve you anymore. Letting go of toxic behaviors that limit creativity. All right, what is that? Are we spending too much time, all right, on the gadgets? All right, on the gadgets, because you got a square there happening between Jupiter and the top part of your chart. Right, and you don't want to be hoodwinked by looking at social media too much, all right, because that is not going to help you. All right, you could be having some toxic issues related to screens, so you might want to be taking a look at, okay, if you are creating on the screen or are you consuming on the screen. Okay, so letting go of screen time and putting more of that effort into feeling better by possibly being outside. Okay, that can help you actually maybe get some more creative ways to have friends. Okay, if we go outside, maybe that would be helping us find some new friends. So letting go of screen time and going outside to find a like-minded community. All right. Now, if you like spending time alone, that is fine. Okay. But we want to find a like-minded community that allows us to be more earthy, that allows us to do weird and unusual things, that allows us to communicate with more people that probably are transforming like us. Okay, so it could be a letting go right here, where I see Mercury and Pluto, a letting go of toxic friendships. And you could be letting go of those through some type of transformation. Maybe you don't have anything in common with those people anymore. Okay. And so you need to change up your community in order to feel of worth, to feel of value. All right. Changing of your friendships to have more value. Whoops. To have more. I did not want to do that. Have more value. All right, so let's talk about the Neptune Mars. So we got Neptune here, you got Mars there, and Venus. So you are getting an up level and maybe being very intuitive at work, doing what you love at work. Okay, loving what you do. Intuitive messages about business. So maybe intuitive awareness about what to do next. I'm just going to say intuitive. Let's say intuitive. Intuitive awareness, all right, about business. Being creative in business that way. All right, so now we are talking about the Sun, Saturn, Moon. So we got the Sun and Saturn and the Moon. So making new friendships that are in more alignment with who you are at this time in business and creating those. Okay, so creating with like-minded people that are in more alignment with you. All right. There we go. All right. So that looks pretty now. Oops. Okay. So if you got anything out of this, hit me up, Cancer. I would love to do a reading for you. My information is in the description box below. And make sure that you like, share, and subscribe and follow my channel, because every time you do, another person gets healthier. All right, Leo. Are you ready for the full moon in the 4th house? So this is another reason why I'm late, okay? Because I'm a Leo rising, and so this is hitting my house of home. Now, some realizations that I have had is cleaning of the house, okay? I haven't cleaned my house probably in a month. And I went and did all of it. I mopped, I did everything. I washed clothes, I changed the sheets on the bed, I cleaned up. Okay. There could also be a look at of maybe things going on in the home, as far as like maybe a letting go of some childhood stuff. Okay. This also applies to Cancers as well. Because when it was in the 5th house, I'm going to go back to Cancer for just a second. Sorry about that, Leo. Okay, but you can kind of see where this controls children and this controls the home. Okay, so this could be childhood trauma. This also could be childhood trauma, maybe related to the home or to the mom. Okay, so letting go of childhood trauma, it could be maybe related to the mom, right? Maybe you've lost your mom. Okay, and maybe you had a business with this person, okay, and now what you value in your career has changed because you value something else more in the home. Okay, so a change of what you do value in business because of a change in the home. Now, what I mean by that, right? You could have had a business partner maybe to pass. All right. So maybe you had to sell the business and now you're working from home. That could be a thing. All right. So anything to do with transformation of the home and how it relates to your business. Okay. Or how you are valued in business as it relates to your home. Maybe there's been some changes at work that affect your money. And that means that that could be good or bad, right? If we get a new job and we get more money, we can expand our home. If we lose our job, then we have to think about, oh no, what am I going to do with my home? Okay, so there could be some issues coming up around that. Now we have Mercury squaring Pluto here. So make sure that there could be some people coming to the surface. Okay, this is relationships and this is business. So relationships and business, like making sure that you aren't saying something that you don't mean at work to somebody. Now, this also applied to another zodiac sign. I want to say it was Aries. So make sure Aries and Leo, you guys move fast. Okay. But we want to make sure that we're slowing things down in how we communicate. All right. So slow communication at work and in relationships. Now, me, I talk very fast. Anybody that knows me will. Okay. So make sure that you slow down the way that you communicate. We got Neptune and Mars here. So you could probably have a lot more energy right now. You might be experiencing some headaches right now, Leo, and it's because you're having to move so fast. Okay. There's so many changes going on that you can't keep up. So make sure that you're drinking a lot of water, right? You need to drink water because you're going to burn out. You've got Mars in Leo, which is ruled by the sun, in the first house, which is ruled by Aries, and another fire sign. So drink water so you don't burn out. Also, don't overcommit yourself like I did, so you can get all these things done. All right, because you want to be able to learn all this bunch of stuff. Okay, you want to be able to learn something new that you love. Okay, maybe have an up leveling in your intuitive abilities and how you connect to your spiritual side. Okay, but you got to have room for that to grow, and you got to drink water, or else like I said, you're going to burn out. Okay, so this is one about, let's see, learning something new around spirituality. And how that can help you in your career. All right. And you've got the North Node here, which is in the house of transformation. So you could be having some transformative experiences around business. And it doesn't have to be bad, okay? Well, how are we aligning? How are we having a transformational experience with our resources in the home? And how is that aligning with our business? Like you're very creative right now, okay? You've got Jupiter right here, which is giving blessings to your mind. And you've also got the North Node here in Pisces at 24 degrees, which is intuition. And you've got Neptune there in the sign of Aries, which is another fire sign. And that's talking to this planet here. Okay. So clean the house. And after you clean the house, your new things can come in. All right. So thanks so much, Leo. And if you like this video, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the channel so the most people can get served. And if you want not a free reading, but if you would like a reading with me, make sure that you check out the description box below for my contact information. All right, Virgo, how are we doing? You are going to be having this one in the third house. So Mercury co-rules the third house and the sixth house, and you rule the sixth house. Okay, so wherever Mercury goes, you need to be paying attention. So you are having this one around beliefs systems. Now, are there some things that maybe you want to let go? And I said this, I think, to the Geminis as well. All right. What is your subconscious pattern that maybe you need to change? Okay. Maybe you are going to get a new spiritual belief, but changing of that spiritual belief, because you have Taurus here, which is fixed. So not being too fixed in our beliefs. All right. So this is a change of beliefs, or not being so fixed in our beliefs. For example, I know that this person would never do wrong. Okay. And then we look online and we see that now they're in trouble for this, and this. Okay. That's being fixed in the belief. Well, they never did that to me. Okay. But you need to change that belief system around that. Okay. Virgo, you are being pushed. You are having the south node, transit your sign for the next year and a half. So this is a up leveling for you. It was an up leveling for the Libras for the last year and a half. They had a lot of letting go that they had to do. So there could be some letting go of identity and your mindset around that. Okay. So Virgo, you like to be logical. You like everything to have meaning and a purpose, and this is the way that it's going to be. Okay. But sometimes we need to be going with the flow a little bit more. You got to go with the flow with some of those relationships. Okay. And not be so fixed in your belief structure. Okay. So changing, I'm not going to say changing. I'm going to say go with the flow. I'm Go outside. Go outside to get connected to your spirit. I think that would help you a lot. Because that may be weird and unusual for you, but you are a fellow earth sign. So wherever that moon is transiting, if you are having some issues, maybe related to mental health, all right, or maybe related to your how you talk to yourself, maybe being outside in nature could be beneficial to you, okay? Maybe you want to change your health habit. But why are we still taking that supplement if we haven't seen any benefit, right? Why do we believe that that's going to work for us, okay? So go outside, get connected to your spirit, maybe doing something that's just a little bit out of the norm for you. For example, maybe if you want to go to church outside in the woods, do your spiritual practice outside in the woods. That would be different for you, okay? Mercury and Pluto. All right, so we got Mercury right here, and it is making a square to Pluto in your health habits and your sign, your sixth house of routines day to day. So you are being asked to do something different and unusual and weird and around probably technology. Maybe film yourself out in the woods using technology. Maybe being with other people for a routine, okay? So make sure that the conversations that we have with people that are in our day-to-day and our spiritual community, all right, that we are trying to look for like-minded people in our routine, okay? And we can't do that if we're arguing with people. So not everybody's going to believe exactly like you, but what do you have in common with that person? And not getting in an argument with somebody that you see every day, okay? So hold back temper for people that you see every day. I think that's all I got to say about that. All right, so now we're going to talk about Mars. Yeah, this right here. So since you've got so much going on here, I know it doesn't look like it now because there's so much action on this side. But because there's so much action on this side, that means that you got to dig in a little bit more, okay? There probably needs to be some type of change in your routine that involves connecting with your spirit. Okay, how do you connect to your spirit? If you connect to your spirit by going to church, that's fine. But why don't we change it up? Maybe you might meet somebody different. Okay, so you see meeting people who are transformative. All right, so you could be meeting some transformational people that kind of help you connect to your subconscious patterns and your belief systems. Okay, spirit, and I want to say belief systems. So you could, maybe find somebody that you want to go out in the woods with and hang out with them. Maybe that person is action. Maybe they like to exercise outside in the woods. That helps them transform, okay? That could maybe be a way that you get some information while you're walking in the woods, Virgo. That's something weird and unusual. Maybe if you're always going to the gym, why don't we go outside? Okay, why don't we do something weird and unusual that we've never done before? Okay, you could possibly have a good experience from that. All right, so now we're talking about the sextiles here between the Sun and Saturn and also Pluto. So the Sun is giving some energy to this area here of your relationship house and building relationships that are going to be more like-minded to you, okay? So The letting go of old ways and discovering new ways to do routines. Virgo, I know how routine you are. I go here to the grocery store. I have this much money, all right? It's okay to spend some money on yourself. It's okay to do something weird and unusual. That's how we grow. If we stay too fixed, all right, Virgo, you can be fixed in your energy too. And you are very critical of yourself. And that makes you critical of others. Okay, but we can't be, too critical on ourselves, because we're going to have to learn how to forgive ourselves so we can move on from that experience. Okay, so maybe you're attracting people like that. All right, Virgo, if you got something out of this, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit that notification bell, because so you can get reminded whenever I post new content. And if you want an appointment with me, please check out the link in the below description box so I can meet you online or in person. Thanks so much. All right, Libra, we're halfway there. It's now 9 o'clock. It looks like I'm going to be doing this until possibly maybe 10. Oh boy. All right. So we have the full moon is going to be in your second house right here. So this is the house of the things that we value. Okay. So there could be a transformation in the things that you value and a letting go of toxic things that maybe you used to value. Okay. So maybe you don't like to drink after work every day at 5 o'clock. You're not going to meet those people anymore. You're going to be meeting some new people. Okay. That could be an example of that. So I'm going to say meeting or letting go of toxic friends. Yeah. Letting go of just toxicity. And that can mean toxic friends. That can mean, toxic behaviors. Okay. It's not just toxic people. It could be your behaviors too. It's not just, oh, that person's toxic, I'm not going to hang out with them. Everybody has their work to do. So what kind of work do you need to be doing? Okay. Are you just going to be, over here hanging out and thinking I'm okay? Or are we going to try to kind of transform the things that we value? This also could be a way for you to look at what it is that you value. Maybe organize your checkbook. Organize your money. All right. Is there a trip that maybe you want to save for? Or maybe you were just blessed with money because, maybe something happened to the things that you value, right? And maybe somebody stole something from you, right? And so you had a change in what it is that you value. Somebody took something from you. Okay. How are we going to react? Are we going to respond? Or are we going to react? Okay, that could be a letting go of that. And that thing that's being taken out of your life is taken out there for a reason, right? This could be not wanting to change your ways. Okay, so making sure that you are trying to change. Because Taurus can be very stubborn, all right? It's the bull for a reason, very bullheaded. It's just like Aries. Both of these are very stubborn, along with Leo. All right, so now we're going to talk about where is Mercury. Mercury is here, and it is drawn a line to Pluto. So Mercury is in the house of transformation, death, and rebirth. And it is drawn a line to something that here is creating, okay? So there could be maybe a resurgence of you trying to create something positive through a transformational experience, okay? So create something that would be a good way for you to deal with that. If somebody has hurt you, if you just had a recent breakup, all right, what are we going to do? Are we going to go to the bar and drink and live in our shadow? Or are we going to create something out of that and have a rebirth of maybe our creativity? Okay, so this could be just maybe a rebirth of creativity that you are experiencing. Okay. Do that hobby that you forgot about, or do something, a weird and unusual hobby. Okay. Work on hobbies. So these are astrological remedies that you can be doing. Okay. So I kind of put themes and remedies together. All right. So now we got Neptune, and it is talking to Mars in the 11th house. So maybe finding a new love. All right. That relationships and spirituality that are going to help you maybe come up with leadership. So let's see, meeting or being, having opportunities to lead in community. All right. Or just be in a leadership role, because this is our friendships. All right. So I'm just going to say community, because this is we the people. So your community can be online. Your community can be out in how you serve the public. Okay. And you can be meeting people that love the same things that you do. Okay. So meeting people who love the same things. And if you love those same things, then you can create, right? You can create something new, something weird and unusual that is of service to humanity, or something that can help the collective. And then our last one is we have Saturn, which is sextiling the Uranus and the Sun. And why did I put Moon there? Oh, I see why I put Moon. So again, this is live. Just give me a second to kind of look at this for a second. Transformation of habits. Yeah, if you transform your habits in your day to day, okay, then you should be able to have more resources. Okay, so transforming routines in your day to day could lead to more resources. All right. And so resources are not just in the form of money. Resources can also be in the form of abundance and relationships. Just out of the blue, somebody gave you something, you won a gift card, your car broke down, but it started up right away, but after somebody did something to it that was easy to fix. Okay. So that's abundance. That's, anything that's not just monetary. Okay. You have a house, you have food. Somebody brought you food to work. You didn't have to cook. Like, that's abundance. We can always have abundance by so many other things besides just money. Okay. You can be abundantly wealthy in friendships. All right, Libra, if you got something out of this, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And look down in the description box below if you would like to make an appointment with me. The information is there. All right, Scorpio, this is your annual full moon. We finally got to your sign. Yay! All right, so you are having this in the first house. So this is going to be highlighting your identity and how you are seen by others in relationships. Okay. So there could be maybe a letting go of something that is not you anymore, of old identity. All right. You don't want to be that person anymore. And maybe you have had a recent divorce, and so now you are taking your name back. That could be a way, that you deal with that moon in your first house. Okay. Letting go of old identity. It probably would be a good idea to honestly look at yourself in the mirror. Okay. The full moon is illuminating your identity. Is there any shadow work maybe that you need to do around who you are? Are you showing up as the most authentic expression of yourself, or have you pretended to be somebody that you are not? Okay. Or do you want to maybe bring in some people into your life that, who do you want to be? Like, this is an opportunity. If this relationship faded away, it's because you're supposed to be doing something different. Okay. So Who do you want to, how have your values changed in relationships over the last year? All right, that's something that you need to be thinking about. Shadow work on self and letting go of just outdated relationships. And I'm not going to say they're toxic, but they're just outdated relationships. They don't serve you anymore, okay? But don't be so fixed in what you want that relationship to look like, okay? It's one thing to know to have your value in relationships, but it's another thing to be so fixed that you're not going to change your ways in order to have the new thing that's coming in. You have Mercury in the 7th house, which is about our relationships, and it is communicating in the home. So watch out with communicating with people in the home. Scorpio, I know that you can take a lot, and then when you get enough, then you blow up, okay? You're like Aries. Aries does that too, okay? That is your sister sign, Aries. So watch out for I would say blow up arguments. All right. Watch out for those blow up arguments in the home. That's not going to turn out well. Okay. But it could be causing some type of rebirth situation that needed to happen. But let's think about how the person is going to hear that information, right? Because Scorpio can get you with that stinger if you get pissed them off. And when they unleash, it's not pretty. And you're going to be sitting there with your mouth wide open and not even be able to speak, okay? Because they can get you on that. So let's make sure that we speak to somebody slowly and we think about how it's going to hurt someone's feelings in the home before we just go all Scorpio on them, okay? Neptune and Mars. So we have this trining. All right, so you could be, look at all these planets here in your house of routines and an up leveling. You could be starting a new exercise routine that would be very good for you and maybe making that a part of your business. So starting a new exercise routine. And the reason that I'm saying that would be a good astrological remedy, and it's one that you love, right? So we got Venus there. We've got our Neptune there, which is intuition, transforming are something that we love around our health habits. All right. Now, maybe your health habit has changed because maybe a pet has passed away. Okay. And that changed your routine. But what can we do in order to keep that fire going so we don't get out of shape? And this could align with your job as well. Maybe doing action steps around routines and habits that align with your business. All right, so now let's look at the Sun, Saturn, Moon. So you have relationships sextiling your house of habits and creativity and the home. So you could be maybe working out at home with somebody that you resonate with that is a friend of yours, and maybe you guys go walking together, okay? That could be a way that you are trying to get some more activity into your life. So I'm going to say relationships, or attracting relationships rather, that help you with your routines. They help you with your routines. And they could be weird and unusual in the home, or maybe you met this person online, or maybe you're working out in the home online, okay? That can help you with your routines, maybe working out in the home. All right, so working out in the home with somebody that maybe you met online. All right, that is a thing. That is an astrological remedy for this full moon. All right, Scorpio, if you got something out of this, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, because every time that bell rings, another person gets healthier. And if you would like to make an appointment with me, my information is in the description box below. All right. Full moon, you are having this one, Sagittarius, in your 12th house. So the 12th house is about sleep. It's about our subconscious patterns. It's about rest. It's about endings. Okay. So there could be some realizations coming to the surface about why you have certain health habits and why those subconscious patterns are related to those habits. Okay. So an astrological remedy for that is to get outside in nature. There is so much air and fire energy, okay, that we've got to calm that down. And the best way to do that is to put your feet on the ground, okay? So I would definitely say doing some grounding practices to offset any thoughts that come up. Any thoughts that come up which are uncomfortable, okay? So this full moon is highlighting like subconscious patterns. Like, for example, like if you drink a bunch of alcohol after work, like why do you do that? Have you ever thought about that? Is it because you don't like your job? Is it because maybe you have an alcohol problem? Or maybe you have a laziness problem where we don't work out and we don't exercise, all right? Let's get moving outside by walking, all right? So grounding practices to offset any thoughts. Exercising would be really good for you because you've got Aries, the planet of action, in the 5th house of being creative. So how are we going to be creative, all right? Are we just going to sit there on the couch and feel sorry for ourselves? No. Let's do some action steps in order to be creative. So dancing would be good. That would be a good astrological remedy. All right, because you want to do something fun. If you're having these uncomfortable thoughts, all right, if you're trying to put a new routine into practice, how are you going to do that? How are you going to do that? All right, we're going to do that by having fun. Sagittarius is very light and loves to have fun. Okay. And right now, you know, your chart ruler, Jupiter, is not very happy because it doesn't like to be in Gemini. Not that it's every planet, like I said, has its detriment where it doesn't like to be, and every planet has its place that it does like to be, right? So your chart ruler is in a place where it doesn't like to be, making an opposition to you, okay? So there could be a lot of relationships that could be coming in that are causing you to up level, but that might be a little bit unstable for you because maybe you like to be real flighty and go everywhere, but some of these relationships that are coming in, they might be grounding you just a little bit and trying to keep you in one place. Or these relationships could be allowing you to be the most expressive person that you can be, right? And they're going to be here for a long time. That's a possibility. All right, so Mercury and Pluto. So you've got this in habits and mindset. All right, so there's another trigger. All right, that's talking about subconscious patterns and belief structure and routines. Okay, so you got routines being highlighted in the mind, routines in the subconscious patterns. Okay, so doing those affirmations around your routine. So I would definitely say saying affirmations around your habits. All right. So, for example, I said this earlier. If you want to be a certain way, like, and you want to have that routine, what does that look like? Like for me, all right. Like if you want to have a business, like what does that look like? What does your routine look like? Do you wake up in the morning and scroll on social media? Or do you say, you know what, I have 5 minutes free. I'm going to create a post for tomorrow for my business. All right. What are you doing with that? All right. So creating structure around what you want your health habits to look like. Okay. And the mindset and the belief around it. Okay. Saying things like, I am disciplined. I am creative. I am organized. I do have good health habits. Those kind of things will change and rewire your brain to where you start believing it and start acting like that. And one day you just say, oh, I'm this way. And you don't even know how you got there because like you've rechanged your brain. Okay. That's how manifestations work. So here we go. That would be very good for you to do, Sag. Right. We want to talk about affirmations. So saying affirmations around your habits. What does your health habits look like? Are they good or are they adverse? Yeah. So no more negative thinking. Okay. Talk to yourself like you would a friend. All right, so now we have the Neptune, Mars, and Venus. So we have Neptune here, and then we have Venus here, and it is talking to Mars up here. So you could be having maybe a something that is prompting you or getting you to take action in learning something new or traveling long distance and having fun. Okay, so travel, I definitely would travel to have fun or create something that you are passionate about. That is a good astrological remedy for this. And honestly, these types of themes are going to be with you for a while. But since Scorpio is about death and rebirth, what we've got to have a habit die. Okay. But what are we going to put in that habit? We're going to dance. We're going to be creative. We're going to take action around the things that we're passionate about. Make time for hobbies. All right. If you are trying to let a old structure die, we got to put something in its place. Okay. Now, you're also getting some energy. Like again, going from the sun to Saturn and also to the moon, which is we've got to change those subconscious behaviors around what our habits are. And it could be that maybe something stemmed from the home and you got to let that go. Okay. You got the North Node in your home, house of home down here. So having the home of your dreams, or maybe what are your subconscious patterns around the home and why you are the way that you are. So I'm going to say letting go of those subconscious patterns of why you have certain health habits. And be honest with yourself. You know, did it come from the home? Your upbringing. Did it come from your home? Did it come from your upbringing? Okay. All right. Sagittarius, if you got anything out of this, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And if you would like a personal appointment with me, please check out the description box below. My contact information is there. Thanks so much, Sag. All right, Capricorn, you are having this full moon in the 11th house of service to humanity. So it is making an opposition to Taurus here in your 5th house of what you create. So creating something that is of value, okay, that is an astrological remedy for you. Creating something of value. And that makes you feel worthy is when you do that. And especially when you create something of value that is recognized by humanity. Okay, so creating something of value, and this creation should serve humanity, all right, or serve others or friendships. All right, so maybe you want to make a rock band. Okay, I'm just throwing this out there because Venus is controlled by Taurus. Venus is controlled by Libra. So just like Mars is controlled by Scorpio and by Aries. Taurus and Libra both control Venus. So maybe making, and Venus is music. Venus is the pleasures of life. Maybe making some music all right, that would be of benefit to humanity, or singing bowls or something like that. Okay, that is making music. It doesn't have to be, oh, I have to make this rock band. Okay, but if that's what you like and you know how to play an instrument with others, then go for it. That would be a good astrological remedy. So I would say making music, uh, being outside, creating outside, being outside, that would be good for you. Then for the Mercury, Pluto, so we've got Mercury right here and it's making a square to Pluto. So you could be having some changes in how you create and what you value, okay? What you create is changing. So changes in how you value what you create. For example, you could maybe have a resurgence or learning like a new hobby, or maybe you end up learning or maybe you pick up an old hobby and you make time for it, okay, because you value that, right? That would be something that would be an astrological remedy for you at this time. Then we have Neptune, which is talking to Mars up here in the house of transformation. So home and intuition, taking action in the home, beautifying the home. Yeah, so if we clean the house, okay, if we beautify the home by listening to our intuition, or letting go of a home, all right, so that we can have more, all right. And I'm just saying so we can have more, because more is trying to maybe come in here that is better for you, okay? And we may not be able to see that, right? Because our eyes might be closed, but there could be a transformation of maybe money coming into the home, okay? Or a change of the home, or women coming into the home, okay? And then your last one, which is the sun and the sextile here that is going to Saturn. So this could be maybe creating something at home, that helps you with your subconscious patterns, that could be of value to you. So creating something at home, so for example, we want to put a lot of plants in the house. Okay, that's helping us create. We are giving life because that's an earth sign. Okay, and the earth sign, by doing that, that is helping you intuitively fix your home in a feminine way, in an intuitive way, maybe possibly creating more structure around the home and listening to your spiritual side. And by doing this, you are able to transform your resources. Maybe doing that helps you value the home a little bit. Okay. All right, Capricorn, if you got something out of this, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you would like a personal appointment, please see in the description box below for my contact information. Happy full moon, Capricorn. Oh, wow. We really didn't get that. I did. Let me see. Boop, boop, boop. Let's do this. Let me see if I can refresh the browser and see if that makes it pop up. See when everything isn't perfect, how it looks? Yay, I knew I had them in there. Come on. All right. So you are having this full moon in the 10th house, which is about our career, business, older people, the matrix, the systems of life. I don't want this and I don't wish this. Okay. But maybe there could be a letting go of an older person in your life or a letting go of a job. Okay. So, and I'm not saying that this is going to happen. I'm just saying that, older people. I'm just saying that this could be a theme, letting go of a career that doesn't serve. Definitely making sure that, let me see where Mercury is. Yeah, I don't think that that's going to happen to you. I thought that maybe it would be about communicating at work, but I don't see really that bad of a sign. Just make sure that we aren't letting home get in the way of work and that we aren't working to death. All right. And that's getting in the way of home. So I'm going to say good balance of home and work. Okay. Can't just work all the time, Aquarius. That's not healthy. That's not good. Let's see. We have Mercury and Pluto. So Mercury in the 4th house of home is talking to the 1st house of identity. So maybe there is opportunities for you to just be careful with how you talk in the home a little bit. Okay, so just watch your words at home, and let's speak a little bit slower, because maybe you want to change or want something different, but maybe somebody in the home doesn't want to be different. Okay, so watch for words at home if you want to do something new. Okay, like, let's not just, it's going to be this way. Okay. Let's think about this. What do you value? All right. In the home, and how does that align with your identity? Okay. How you are, by your uniqueness. Okay. That could be a theme, being valued for your uniqueness and how you communicate. Neptune is down here and along with Venus, and it is talking to Mars over here in the 7th house. So there could be some good relationship energy possibly for you, Aquarius, around brothers and sisters. Right. So good relationship chats maybe with I'm just going to say the community and siblings, because that's what it rules. And you could possibly be going on a short distance trip that could maybe allow you to be more masculine in relationships. This trip, a short distance trip, maybe meeting some fiery type people in the community that kind of get you moving. Okay. Maybe these people like to work out in the morning. Okay. And that could be maybe good relationships in the community. And then for our sun, Saturn, moon. So we got the sun here, and it is going to Saturn in the 2nd house from the 4th to the 1st. So valuing your home and how and your identity in the home. Okay. So home is definitely going to be highlighted for you for a while, Aquarius, because look at all these planets here. Okay. And it's what you value. It's your mindset, and it's also your home. So you got a lot of stuff going on right here, Aquarius. So what do you value in the home? You know, why do you value that? Why is that good structure for you? And let's give it some. How do you show the people in your life that you love them? Okay. Do you check out, you know, when it's time to have conversations that maybe are uncomfortable? All right. Are we valuing too much screen time? Okay. Limit screen time. All right. We need to value more spirituality, our connection to our spirit, and less screen time. That can definitely help us. Okay. Valuing stuff more in the home, valuing the people in the home, not valuing the technology. Limit screen time, value people. Okay. Especially the people that you care about the most. You can get a new phone, but you can't get a new brother or sister or family member. Okay. All right, Aquarius, if this resonates, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the channel, because every time you do, another person gets healthier. And if you would like to make a personal appointment with me, please check out the information in the description box below. All right, Pisces, we are finally here at your sign. It only took us an hour and a half to get here. Thank you for waiting. Okay, so you are having this transit in your ninth house, which is about our beliefs, spirituality, religion, and travel. And so there could be some realizations around your belief systems and letting go of a mindset which no longer serves you. Okay, because you, just like a who else did we have this? I think it was Gemini as well. Yeah, you don't want to have outdated belief systems. Okay. And there could be some new things coming to the surface about maybe what you did believe in, and that doesn't align with you anymore. Okay. But why do you believe in those things? Like asking yourself, you know, why do you believe what you believe? Is it because someone told you that? Or is it because you've researched it? Okay. Now, Pisces, you have the North Node in your sign for the next year and a half to 2 years. So you are being highlighted just like the Virgos and just like the Aries and the Libras were for the last 2 years. So if you know any Aries or Libras and how much their life has changed, yours could be changing in the same way for the Virgos and the Pisces. Okay. So ask yourself, why do you believe what you believe? Was it something that has been fixed in you since, you know, you were younger and you were told that this is the way it is and this is the structure and you must abide by these rules and this is what you were supposed to value? Okay. So there could be a change in your value around your mindset. Maybe doing self-talk affirmations. I said that earlier with the self-talk affirmations. So if you are wanting to change your belief system, like the best thing to do is to think about what it is that you want and what attributes that you need to have in order to make that happen, right? So if you want to move homes, what do you need to do in order to get that home moved? You got to box up stuff. You got to clean stuff. Like, let's get organized. Let's clean out the things that we don't value anymore so that we can have the new things come in. Okay. So that's with anything. All right. So Mercury and Pluto, you've got Mercury, which is in mindset and it is talking to the subconscious patterns. Okay. So looking at your subconscious behaviors. I spelled this wrong. Behaviors. Why do you believe what you believe? Okay. Are you spending too much time on the screens? Okay. Are you spending too much time on the screens and checking out and not talking to the people around you? Are you valuing that? Okay. That might be something that you need to look at. And then when we see this Neptune, all right, it is talking to this planet here, Mars, in the planet, in the house of the house of routines and habits. Okay, so you probably getting into good routine habits, an exercise routine. That could help you a lot during this full moon transit. Mars is going to be here for you, Pisces, for the next, when does it go into Virgo? I think at the end of the year. So this summer, you should have more energy to do all the things that you want to do. So get to it, okay? And also taking action around what you value. And then our last transit here, okay? This is doing the same thing, right? It's talking about letting go of subconscious patterns so that we can have that up leveling of who we are supposed to be in our community. Okay. So if you want your community to change, you have to change your belief system. Changing your routine and belief system will change your community. So if you are wanting to move, we have to figure it out what it is that we want to value. Okay, taking some action around the things that we value. All right, we have come to the end, and I appreciate you tuning in for as long as you have. Again, I just ran out of time and I couldn't do the PowerPoint like I wanted to, so you get to see my studio. My studio, and this was actually real life. All right, and I didn't know how long it was going to last, and I didn't know what it was going to look like, but I'm trying to do something new. So I appreciate the people that tuned in, and I see that I've got some comments here. Thank you, Sarah, for tuning in. Thank you, Azalea, for tuning in. I appreciate you. And I hope that you guys have a magical evening. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And after this is over, I will leave the timestamps of your zodiac sign in the description box below. Have a magical full moon in Scorpio. Bye-bye, everybody.